by standing on the graves of the children of Sandy Hook, saying
So this is my second video on the shooting, on the incident in Minnesota. Not sure what I can say. Fairly new YouTuber here, novice, but I wanted to go over a few things on X because that's kind of a place where you can kind of see these things. Just want to show you this. So the reason I'm showing you this is because we need to have compassion, like my previous videos stated. We need to have compassion on those that are suffering, that have gone through this. But I just want to say that although we can have compassion on the person that did this, he has gone through something traumatic in his life. One of the things written on his magazine, one of his magazines, was PDF file. Sorry. So he was making a statement. I'm just curious as to whether something had happened to him. But beside that, there's a lot of protest. The mayor, the cowardly mayor of Minnesota, Jacob Frey, is making a stand for trans people, but not taking a stand for the victims that actually got victimized. Protecting the community, the T community, when it was the T community that did this, not the community itself, but a member of, shall we say. And it brings up an interesting topic. If you look at these shooters, I'm not sure if I could say it, but I said it. Look at Denver trans, Aberdeen trans, Nashville trans, Georgia trans. I mean, there's quite a few on this list. So what I'm getting at here is there are people offended that we as human beings, me as a patriarch of my family, notice that we have eyes and that we can see that there's something wrong. And we can see that there is trouble in this community. Are we not supposed to notice? And if we do notice, are we somehow more at blame than the one who did the deed? It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to scroll through some of this. This is somebody that's obviously saying, but rednecks are the problem. Yeah. And that's the problem when you take a political stand. And as Ben Shapiro once said to Piers Morgan, you're standing on the graves of children.
By standing on the graves of the children of Sandy Hook, saying they don't seem to care enough about the dead kids. If they cared more about the dead kids, they would agree with you on policy.
To make your point. It's disgusting. So I just wanted to make this video because I wanted it to be clear that it's not the means of the death that is the problem here. It's the mentality of the person that enacts it. Like we don't remove cars. Cars are responsible for quite a few deaths. Very similar number. I don't have it on the top of my head, but they're very similar. All gun deaths and automobile deaths. We're not just going to outlaw cars because cars are not the problem. Owners who drive safely are not the problem. Because somebody chooses to do what it takes to get a DUI or slam into somebody else's car and unalive them, it doesn't mean that the rest of us shouldn't be allowed to drive. It's just it's an idiotic, lame and weak position to take. One of the guys I watch quite a bit on X, he says, this is Matt Walsh. He says, I have multiple guns. I've never murdered anyone in my life. Somehow, even with all my G's, I've never experienced the temptation to spray into a church. It turns out that if you aren't mentally ill, having a gun isn't a problem at all. And he's responding to this goof that said, T is not the problem. He had a gun. That's the problem. Yeah. Stephen King. What a disappointment. It's so disappointing when you're a fan of some artist and they reveal to them to the world how stupid they are. Anyway, are you suggesting that T should be barred from owning guns? Interesting idea. I think you might be right. He's responding to Claire Z. Anything before common sense restrictions on guns, though. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting argument, right? Because that's why they're not in the military anymore, or why they're making the push to get them out of the military, because they're not stable, obviously. And this is not meant to be badgering towards but there seems to be a lot more instability in that particular letter than the rest of the letters. That's just my observation. So this is Joel Berry says the public needs to know the names of every doctor, counselor, therapist, and psychiatrist who ever interacted with this person. Yeah, that needs to be on the table. Like how is that missed? I'm like, if you're talking about sensible gun control, I think this was part of gun control. The conversation was if you were mentally unstable, you would be deemed ineligible for a time at least. I don't remember what the time was. 6 months. You go through evaluation, but I mean that seems to make some sense, right? Like if you have people that are mentally unstable, as this individual was, what's the problem with saying, yeah, we need to look at the people that shouldn't be having guns, and that's the people that are unstable, right? So here's another one from Matt Walsh. This guy is an utterly pathetic, depraved piece of shit. Oh yeah, let's hear what this goof has to say. Let's have a listen.
All of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Idiot.
We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone.
So it's not hate, goof. I mean, it's funny when poor white people, man. Like when it was all white guys or perceived to be all white guys, because it's obviously not. There's a statistic that shows that it almost goes down line by line, percentage of population per race. Pretty intriguing. Anyway, that's not the topic of this video, but now that it's a certain group of people, we're not supposed to notice, and if we notice, we're hate mongers. Okay. What a coward. So it says here, Andy NGO. Minneapolis mass of Christian children, Robert Westman, came from a very liberal family in Minnesota who fully affirmed his transition. If there's anything that I would take away from this, is that instead of like coming down on people who notice that this particular letter of the community has done this thing, instead of going after the people that notice this. Why don't we question the effectiveness of this affirming care? Well, it obviously didn't help in this case. And statistics show that it doesn't help in any case. Well, I shouldn't say any case. I should say that the self-offing statistic is greater after the transition than before. Think of this in your own life. When you go out and you see somebody that's different on any scale, any level, do you make fun of them? Do you mock them? Do you see people making fun and mocking them? Sometimes we see those videos online. But overall, in your sphere of influence, do you see this on a daily basis? What's the affirming care doing for the community? It's not doing what we're lied to about. Have sympathy for the parents that have to hear that. Would you rather have a unalived son or a living daughter? That's tragic. If you want to hear a story, follow Chloe Cole. Follow some of the detransitioners. Go to like detransitioner pages and see what that story is like when somebody who has transitioned and transitioned back, detransitioned. See what kind of hate they get from the community. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. And it's the saddest thing in the world. But I want you to think about when you go out. Do you see people making fun of other people? This is a tragedy, right? What happened here is awful. It's not hate, man. It's like it's nothing but love. Like I said in the previous video, and I meant that. We should be praying for all the people involved, but we should be praying for his family. We should be praying for the community. We should be praying that this doesn't happen again. But what I'm saying is we need to raise our children right. As the Bible says, raise them up in the way of the Lord. And they'll never turn from it. That's the key, man. That's the key, is we have to take care of our children. I mean, when you have a kid, doesn't your life change? Didn't your view of life change? Like when you were single and be bopping around doing your thing, we didn't think of these things like we do now. You have a kid, that all changes, right? All of a sudden, I got to do everything for this little person, this little beautiful person. Like I remember holding my kids for the first time. It's amazing. Like I'm seeing my granddaughters grow up. I've got 4 granddaughters, and I got a grandson who's about to become a year old. I've watched these kids grow, my own kids to my grandkids, and it's a beautiful thing. It's the importance of life. It isn't bad to say that these are not ideal situations that this kid came from. I'm just saying we need to love our children and be the parent before we're their friend. You can't affirm everything they do. It's not mean to say that, to notice that something is wrong. That's just my opinion. My opinion will not change. And hopefully you don't think bad of me for it. But if you do, I have no power over that. You can disagree with me, and hopefully you can be an adult and not call names. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. As always, man, I love you guys. But always, I'll always be loving you guys. I'll always be praying for you guys. And that's all I got for you today on this particular topic. I love you. Peace out.